All right, well, my family drinks a lot of carbonated beverages in cans, and that's a little expensive and not so great for the environment, even though we recycle all the cans. And I've been meaning for a while to get a carbonator and looked into it, and I also happen to have a 5-pound CO2 tank and a 20-pound CO2 tank for my beer kegerator. So I thought, wow, it'd be great if I could, instead of buying the 60-liter cylinders and refilling them all the time, it'd be nice if I could just hook up to a carbonator. And I looked into it, and everybody seems to love the Aarke 3, and it does look beautiful, and I'd kind of like to get one. Maybe I will if I decide that I like the carbonating business here. But in the meantime, those are like over $200 new, and they're beautiful, and I may get one someday if I like this. But in the meantime, the Philips is really highly rated. They're like $56 new on Amazon, and I've got this one for $40 on Facebook Marketplace, no tax, and it's brand new in box. So I'm like, well, I'll try it and see if I can get an adapter hose hooked up to it. I got this adapter hose from Soda Helper, great company, veteran owned. They did a really nice job. They have lids on these things, or caps on these things, to protect the connectors. This has got a quick disconnect. This is a 60-inch hose. This came with some extra washers, so love these guys. I'll put a link to that, and we'll see how this Philips carbonator works. But part of the problem was everybody online, there's lots of people who were explaining how to put an adapter hose onto the Aarke 3. There's just like a screw on the back that you unscrew and remove it, and I couldn't find anything on how to adapt the Philips, even though it uses the same standard 60-liter tank, and I think these bottles are also actually standard that you could swap with SodaStream and Aarke and everything. So some people like actually cut this out. This is just plastic. They cut it out so that they could get a hose in here, the adapter hose in here, and I don't want it to be that ugly. And I'm like, I'll do that if I have to, but what if I just buy this thing and take a look at it? There's got to be some way to disassemble it, even though it seemed like people were saying there was no way to disassemble it. So I brought this thing home, and if you look inside here, let's see if I can get the camera to show it. I'll get a flashlight on here. If you look inside here, I don't know if this is going to come out on the camera, you can see 3 Phillips head screws in there. There's one at about 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and another one at about 7 o'clock. So hopefully you can see those. If not, whatever, trust me, they're in there. There we go. How's that? Better? There we go. But those things are pretty dang deep in there. So if you measure it, it's like, oh gosh, about 14 inches down the hole there to get to those screws. I didn't happen to have a Phillips head screwdriver that was 14 inches, but you can buy them. You probably only need one that's got a 12-inch shaft. That's probably enough, because you can get your hand partly into the hole here. But what I had, makeshift, being a cheapskate, I have a 1/4-inch driver like this. You could use a ratchet or whatever, and I had a couple 1/4-inch extensions, and then I just taped a Phillips head bit on the end of that. I don't know what size ratchet that is, 3/8 maybe, I don't know, and and a Phillips head screw bit on it. And now I'm going to see if I can unscrew those 3 Phillips head screws and attach my adapter hose. And if I can get that done, then well, you'll know how to do it. And if I can't get it done, you'll probably never see this video, because I probably won't post it. By the way, this is Philips ADD4901. I think they also have like 4903s now that have this sort of fake stainless steel on them. But this is what I got on Facebook Marketplace. So, all right, I'm going to go give this a try. Probably can't unscrew those screws while holding the camera, so I'll be back. Okay, now I'm back. That did work. I removed the 3 Phillips head screws, and this top came off. so that's cool. But actually, if you look, you'll see two of those Phillips head screws actually still remain in their hole. The other one, there we go, somewhere down here. Anyway, well, it looks like this. But just a little Phillips head screw. I'll have to figure out how to get that back in with the magnetic tip, hopefully. But the other two screws here and here stayed in. So the third one over here, I'll have to flip this thing upside down and screw it back in later. But the one thing that it really just kind of popped off except for one thing, and so I'm gonna tell you this. There's a little tube right here. Let's see if I can pull it out for you. It might be hard. So there's a little flexible plastic tube right here, and that was attached to this thing right here. I don't know exactly what it does. It's some kind of return that goes back down into here. But it would be almost impossible to put this thing back on without somehow loosening that tube so I could pull it out. Since it feels like it's spring-loaded, you can't just pull it out and do it even with the needle nose pliers. So I ended up flipping this thing over, figuring, where does the tube go? It goes down here somewhere. And on the base of this thing, you'll see that there are 6 rubber pads for feet, and you can take these off, and there's a Phillips head screw under each one of them, just a tiny Phillips head screw. So I've already removed these. I removed the feet, removed the Phillips head screws, and when I did that, come on, I might have to set the camera down and try this. Yeah, I'll be back. Okay, so you remove those 6 rubber feet and the 6 Phillips head screws, and you'll see on the bottom here is this tube that goes into, I don't know what, the base there. I don't know what that does. Probably lets some bubbly water down there. I don't know. But anyway, this tube here is so tight that you can't really pull it up from the top, so you have to unscrew this. And this should be the first step, is take this bottom off, and then you can remove this, not remove it, whatever, unfix it here. And that makes this loose enough that you can then come up here and pull this out. I'm going to pull it out with a needle nose pliers and see how that gives me lots of room now to work, so that when I go to put this thing back together, I can put this white thing into here, and then I'll just screw this back down. And of course, now that I've got this thing open, what I've got here is the soda helper adapter, which just screws right into here. This has got a quick connector on, so I don't have to mess with the hose for right now. And just screw this in, and I'm going to get a wrench on that and screw it in tighter, and then I'll put the quick connect on and put this thing all back together, and hopefully it'll work. So I think that's it. So the first thing I'm going to do probably is take off this base with to remove the 6 feet, 6 screws, then reach down inside of this thing with a long Phillips head screwdriver, or cobble something together like I did, and then this thing should pop off. You can put your adapter on, and I'll just feed this hose obviously back up through the hole here, connect it, and should be in business. We'll see. All right. Okay, so I tighten that up with a wrench, the adapter, put on the quick connector, and now I'll just connect that little white thing to the tube here and screw it back together. Okay, almost done. There were 2 screws of the 3 that were down deep in that hole that remained in their socket, and they were easy to screw back in. Now I get to get this 3rd one in, so I just put a piece of tape around this. I think it's going to be a little tricky, but I put a little piece of tape around that to hold it to the screw bit head and the screwdriver head, Phillips head. and the Phillips head bit, and I will try to screw that in now, and I'll be back. Okay, it was a little tricky, but I got that third screw in and rerouted this back around here, this whatever the heck it is, tube. And so now I'm just going to screw the bottom on and we should be in business. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so it worked. Got it all screwed back together. Got the base screwed on. Put the rubber feet back on, the 6 rubber feet over the 6 Phillips head screwed. Got the 3 in there. Got my adapter hose coming out here. Not sure yet how I'll mount this because I may just drill a hole into my countertop and run this directly down, but if not, probably more likely I will take a drill bit or a Dremel and just put a little notch right here so that this hose can run through and still sit flat. So that's it. Alright, I decided to go ahead and just notch a hole right here. Or a little, what do you call it? A little gouge for this thing to run out, for this adapter hose to run out. Not sure what the best way to do that is, but I'm going to go ahead and start with a Dremel spiralizer drill, which can go sideways like this. And I've got it on the end of my little Tool Rhino portable USB rechargeable what do you call it, rotary tool. I have a big old Dremel that's corded but hardly ever use it anymore because this thing is so darn convenient. It's good for like 99% of my Dremel work. The only thing weird about these things is they take a slightly smaller shaft than Dremel out of the box, but this is all compatible with the screw thread here is shaft is compatible with Dremel, so you can put on Dremel whatever collets and stuff. So I put a Dremel size collet in before, but then I got this thing, which is a game changer. This is just basically, what do you call that, chuckless what do you call these things? Same as my drill. So you can basically use any kind of any size collet or any size bit in here, either the smaller ones or the Dremel size 1/8 ones. And this is just a chuckless head. What do you call it? Keyless chuck. That's what I'm looking for. A keyless chuck. So you can just do this finger tight. It's awesome. It takes any size. Anyway, I'll put a link to those things in here. So I'm going to go give this a try. Probably can't hold the camera while I do it, but I'm just going to go ahead and try and get that thing routed out first with that, and then I'll probably try and move on with a drill bit, a 9/16 drill bit, which should be just big enough and hopefully leave a nice smooth hole. So get it started with the rotary tool and then see if I can get it bored out more with this. If not, then I'll go to if the drill bit doesn't work, I'll go to a sanding grinding disc for the rotary tool. All right, here we go. I'll be back. Okay, the spiralizer blade on the rotary tool worked nicely, and then I took what was it, about a 3/16 inch drill bit and put it on there to get it a little bit wider, and I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch drill bit and then eventually to a 5/16 drill bit to get that to be a nice attractive hole. Okay, I gotta admit that worked way easier than I expected. I was easily able to route that out with my drill bit. That ended up being a 5/16 drill bit, which is just big enough to let this hose through. Actually created a pretty clean looking hole. Wouldn't be embarrassed if anybody's seeing that, but it's in the back, so hardly anybody gonna see it anyway. But that's pretty nice. So now I can just let's see, flip this over. There we go. This now sticks out the back, so that's pretty cool. I like it. All right, I guess I have to go hook up a CO2 tank to this thing and see if it works. Okay, now for the moment of truth. I connected the adapter to my kegerator's CO2 tank. Not really even sure if it has CO2 in it. It's been so long since I used it. And I guess we'll give this a go. I've never used a carbonator before, but here we go. I already turned this on, so turned the valve on the CO2 tank. So let's give it a whirl, see what happens. Ooh. Wow, I think that works. People were saying like do 2 or 3 presses, and I think it says that in the instruction manual. I don't know, but there was a kind of a big gas release afterwards. I guess that's what that tube is for. Alright, I'm gonna go one more. Okay, it worked. Carbonated water. Alright, that's it. I'll put some links in the video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have any questions or if you appreciated the video. And now there is a video out there that tells you how to convert a Philips, a cheap Philips carbonator, to be used with a big old CO2 tank like this. Alright, good luck. Okay, so I ended up putting the Philips GoZero on my kitchen countertop. I think it looks pretty good. And I ended up running a line around and under the cabinet and to a 20-pound CO2 tank that I've owned since college, 1982. The CO2 inside of it's from 1982. I can't believe it's still there. I haven't used the thing since then, but it works great. It should be enough CO2 to last me for years, unless the stale CO2 kills me. Anyway, it's working really well. Love it. I've been flavoring the sodas with these Torani flavorings, which I don't really leave those out on the countertop. I just fill up little bottles like this, and looks a little nicer. Takes up a little less space, takes up a lot less space. Anyway, that's it. I will put some links to some of the products I use in this video. They're Amazon links. If you decide to purchase any of the items in those links, please do so by clicking on the links, and I will get a small bounty from Amazon, and it won't cost you a bit more. It'll just mean that Amazon makes a little bit less profit. And I don't really do these videos to make money. I do them to help other people because I've been helped by so many videos. But hey, it's a nice bonus if I can get a few dollars. So if you do choose to buy anything, please do some from those links. Let me know if you have any comments, questions. Good luck.